Hello students. In this video we are going to discuss about the facilitators of communication. Also we are going to discuss about various barriers of communication which may hinder your process of communication and what are the methods to overcome those barriers. So we are going to discuss about these particular topics in this video. So we are going to start with facilitators of communication. So basically there are total 7 C's of effective communication. These 7 C's are nothing but the factors which are responsible to enhance our communication or enhance our process of communication between a sender and a receiver. So the 7 C's are clarity, completeness, conciseness, concreteness, correctness, courtesy, and consideration. So we'll discuss with these 7 C's one by one. So the first uh, facilitator of communication is clarity, that whatever message sender wants to transfer or sender wants to give to the recipient should be clear. That message should be clear, it should have clarity, it should not be confusing, it should be clear so that it could be understandable, and it will not create any kind of confusion in the mind of a receiver. Then the second is completeness. Whatever message sender wants to transfer to the receiver should be complete. That message should not be half or broken, or should have any it should not have any kind of manipulations or any false content in that. So it should be complete, it should not be broken, or it should not be half. Third is conciseness. The message that sender wants to deliver to the receiver should be brief, it should be short, it should not be very lengthy, because lengthy messages might create a problem or might create confusion in the head of a receiver. So we are supposed to give, or the sender is supposed to give, very small information with all the essential data in that. Fourth is concreteness. Specific message should be delivered from the end of a receiver sender to the receiver. So that specific message should have, as I have just told you, it should be related, it should have all the information, necessary information, pinpointing one specific thing. It should not involve multiple direction. It should not have a lot many things which might create confusion in the head of a receiver. So it should be specific, it should pinpoint a one particular thing, it should narrate only one objective, it should not be very vague, I would say. Next is correctness. The message should not have any kind of error, it should not have any kind of wrong information. It should be, as I've just told you, it should be complete, it should be brief, specific, and it should not have any kind of false information in the message. Then sixth is courtesy. Whenever a sender is transmitting knowledge or giving knowledge to the receiver, the sender should be very polite, it should be very empathetic, enthusiastic. So the expression of politeness has to be there. The sender should not be very arrogant, should not be very dominating. He should be very, approachable, I would say. So the sixth facilitator would be courtesy. Then the seventh facilitator is consideration. In consideration, stepping into someone's shoes and understand. That means the sender who is transmitting information, he should not be, I would say, very arrogant. The particular individual or the sender should have a feeling of consideration. He or she should understand the situation of another person. He or she should be very empathetic so that the sender could understand the situation of the recipient, and then only whatever message the sender wants to transmit will transmit, depending upon all the scenario. So basically there are the 7 factors which basically improve the process of communication. Then we have barriers of communication. In the barrier, we have total 5 types of barrier. So we'll start with the first barrier, which is your physiological barrier, and simultaneously I'm going to explain you the methods to overcome those barriers. So the first barrier is your physiological barrier. So what could be a physiological barrier? Lack of attention, discomfort due to illness, hearing problem, and information overload. Basically, all these 4 uh, problems may occur from the receiver's end. Receiver could have a problem with the attention. He or she could be ill, and he or she could be having any hearing problem, or information overload could be there in the recipient's head. So these kind of things might occur in the receiver. So there are few methods with which we can overcome these problems, like the receiver has to improve the focus. He or she can treat the illness. Limitations of hearing ability must be kept in mind. This particular point could be considered from the sender's end, uh, and information overload must be avoided. So this particular point also should be considered by the receiver, that he or she can give only limited information, not I would say limited information, but only important things, and information overload should not be there. Then the next type of barrier is the environmental barrier. So because of the problem in the environment, there will be there could be a hindrance between the process of communication because of loud background noise, poor lighting, uncomfortable sitting arrangement, unhygienic surroundings. Then very hot and cold rooms could be there. So these kind of things also might create, these are the environmental factors which will create barriers in communication. So to overcome these barriers, we are supposed to correct these things. So sound should be there. Then we have to have proper lighting. Then sitting arrangement should be proper and comfortable. Then hygienic, neat and tidy environment and surrounding should be there. Then temperature regulation should be there in the room where sender and receiver are sitting. Then the next type of barrier is psychological barrier. So any kind of problem or in the psychology of a receiver or the sender will create or might create hindrance in the communication between the two. So misperception and misunderstanding is one factor. Emotional disturbances in any individual receiver or sender, then unhappy emotion in either of these people will create problems. So how we can overcome these psychological barriers? Communication should be carried out in a happy and trustworthy manner. The sender and the receiver must reframe negative emotions such as anger. So this is a method where we can eliminate this psychological barrier. Then social barrier is there. In social barrier, what generally happens? There are certain social taboos. There's a difference in social norm and value between the sender and the receiver, because of which the process of communication will not happen properly. So how we can overcome it? We must have a uh, uh, we must have respect for other religion, other social values, the social value of other person, and then before we'll have to keep this thing in our mind before communicating. Then there is a third next barrier, that is a cultural barrier. In cultural barrier, basically ethnic, religious and cultural differences are there in the individual. So before communicating, if we'll keep these differences in our mind, if we are going to talk to the another person of different culture, if we are going to keep these things in our mind, then we can have a good process of communication. In this video, as I have told you, that we were going to discuss about facilitators of communication and barriers of communication and methods of communication. So we have discussed about all these things, and I have taken this topic from S.K. Sharma, Communication Education Technology, published by Elsewhere Publication. I hope